All right, let's talk about a force that has literally shaped civilizations, sparked wars, and given meaning to billions of lives. We're going to dive deep into the super complex relationship between religion, power, and, well, what it means to be human. So let's just get right to the heart of it. This is the big question for our whole conversation today. Is religion a genuine system of belief, a powerful tool for control, or is it somehow, fascinatingly, both at the same time? Okay, to really get a grip on this, we have to go way, way back. I mean, try to imagine a time when you had no idea why you were born, why you had to suffer, or what on earth happened after you died. It's out of those huge, honestly terrifying questions that religion really began. So here's where it gets really interesting, right? Was religion some kind of divine answer, handed down from on high? Or was it a deeply human reaction to fear? Just a way for us to cope with a world that felt totally chaotic, where nature was unpredictable and death was, well, everywhere. I mean, think about it. In a world with no science to explain why the seasons change or why people get sick, belief in something bigger offered some pretty crucial comforts. It gave you order in what seemed like a random universe. It gave you hope for what comes next, and it gave you meaning for what was often a short and really tough life. But, of course, that's not where the story ends. Not by a long shot. See, this personal comfort, this private belief, it started to mix with the public world of society. And that's when a huge shift started to happen, as rulers and institutions began to realize the incredible power that was hiding inside a faith. And this quote just nails the discovery they made. Early leaders, governments, they figured something out. If people truly believe in something, they'll live for it, they'll sacrifice for it, and yeah, they'll even die for it. And that one insight, it would completely change the course of history. So this is the big turning point, what we're calling the Great Shift. Religion starts out as this deeply personal thing, a private source of comfort, but then it gets transformed into a collective tool, a super effective way to organize whole societies, get huge groups of people to act, and keep everyone in line. And while, as you can probably guess, this transformation had a dark side, for sure. Once religion got tangled up with power and us versus them thinking, it was used to justify conflict on a massive scale. I mean, history is just packed with wars fought under the banner of faith. Which really makes you stop and ask a tough question. When all those armies were marching and cities were burning, were they really, truly fighting for the glory of God, for the purity of their faith, or was something else going on just under the surface? The other option, of course, is that these were just human conflicts, plain and simple. I mean, take the Crusades. We often talk about them as a holy war, but they were also a fight for land, for trade routes, for political power. Religion wasn't always the reason for the fight, but it was the perfect justification, the ultimate excuse for very worldly goals. And there's a word for that, a pretext. It's basically when you give a really good-sounding reason for doing something, when your real reason is something else entirely. And from this point of view, God was often just used as a cover story, pulled into the middle of human squabbles to hide goals that were, well, anything but holy. So this brings us right back to where we started, to that central conflict. On one side, you have religion as this genuine source of hope and morality for billions of people. On the other, it's a manufactured tool for power. So, which one is it? Can it be both? Well, like with most big human questions, the answer probably isn't a simple A or B. It's just not that black and white. The real truth seems to be somewhere in the middle, and all the nuance, and in how the whole idea has evolved over time. And we can kind of break that evolution down into 3 steps. First, it all started from a real, authentic human need for meaning. Then, as it got bigger, it was shaped and molded by the powers that be. And finally, because of that influence, it was sometimes twisted and misused for things that had nothing to do with its original purpose. So you might be wondering, why is religion still such a powerful force today in our modern scientific world? Well, it's because those deep, fundamental questions that started it all, they never went away. We still fear death. We're still searching for meaning. We still want to feel connection and hope. Okay, so this leads to a really fascinating thought experiment. Imagine you had a magic wand and you could just, poof, make all religion disappear from the world. Would we suddenly enter this new age of peace and reason? Would all our problems be solved? Or is it way more likely that our basic human need to believe in something absolute would just find a new target? Maybe we'd just swap religion for an unquestioning faith in a political ideology, or intense nationalism, or even the worship of money and power. And maybe that's the real takeaway here. Perhaps the problem isn't religion itself, but our very human habit of taking any idea — it could be religious, it could be political, it could be anything — and turning it into an absolute, unquestionable truth. Because when any belief is used as a weapon, as a tool for power, that's when it becomes truly dangerous. So we're left with one last question, and this one isn't about history or society. It's for you. What do you believe in, really? What do you put your absolute faith in? And maybe even more important, why?